What is up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture, a late night random video. I just looked at the Cardano charts and something very important happened. I wanted to just cover it. I wanted to cover it tonight because tomorrow we're going to be traveling. We're going to be traveling to our new home state. It's a really big day tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to have a chance to do a video. So I wanted to kind of talk about what Cardano is doing. So let's jump into it. I real quick want to start with this very important announcement. I'm tweeting it right as I record this video. All CCV stake pools are eligible for the SundaeSwap ISO. I'm getting so many questions about this. So yes, CCV, CCV1, CCV2, CCV3, and CCV4, they're all eligible. So you can be staking in any of those pools and you will be in the SundaeSwap ISO. CCV5, that ticker is not ours. That's a scammer. I'm going to tweet that real quick. And then before we jump into the charts, I just thought of this. I didn't talk about this in a recent video, but I wanted to just point this out. I know this was like a few days ago. Vitalik tweeted an Ethereum poll that had ADA on it, and he said you wake up in 2035, and this is for the Ethereum community. You wake up in 2035, 80% of all transactions and savings in the world are in one currency that's not ETH. That's a bold statement, first off, for him to say. Pretty cool though. I mean, I like that he just like flipped the perspective for a second. He said, which would you prefer be? So ADA, 42%. Now I realize myself, Charles Hoskinson, so many people retweeting to boost these votes, right? But 600,000 votes. And it doesn't matter who's retweeting it. People in Solana probably retweeting it. People that are just hardcore Bitcoin probably retweeting it. This shows, and this is what I want to talk about real quick, this shows the growth and the power of Cardano network. And a piece of that is a community. A piece of that, and a very big piece of that, is the growing ecosystem and you all out there. And I just wanted to point that out. This is extremely telling from a social dynamic. And I think it's something to pay attention to, what took place in this poll. I think it's really, really telling. So I wanted to point that out. Now let's jump into the charts. I'm going to talk about upside in this video when it comes to charts. I'm going to also talk about downside at this stage and why we all need to be very, very careful with Cardano right now. And what I mean when I say that is, like, for me, I'm not doing anything, but it's like careful mentally. It's just preparation for me, right? I'm accumulating Cardano when I feel like accumulating Cardano, but I'm anticipating big moves either way, just so that I'm mentally sane, I'm mentally in the game, I'm always prepared. That's what this is about. So let's talk about what's going on here. And I guess let's first discuss what has happened, why I really wanted to do a video tonight instead of just relaxing right now. This is what happened, and we talked about this on the 6-hour chart. This swing high back here in the end of December to the swing low. Remember people freaking out around $1.07, $1.06. We were talking about this range, this Fibonacci resistance range for Cardano. Remember we called it the $1.40 to $1.50 range yesterday, depending on you're looking at the 6-hour or the daily chart. This range is a lower high resistance range that I'm extremely curious of. And before we even got here, it's a range that I was curious of, because what it is, it's illustrative of these lower highs that Cardano keeps getting for months, right? So this range is that next lower high resistance range, meaning we get these moves and everybody's all happy if you're an ADA holder, and then it's just like kind of this fake out. It's a letdown. We just trickle back down to put in a new low. And so this move right here could very well be that thing. We want to be very, very careful for that. But that's why we monitor these things. This is why we don't get overly excited even with a move like this. And for context, with this move is, let me get my price range from that swing low. It's a $1.06 range, swing low to swing high. We're talking 40% in the last 6 days. Cardano is up 40% in the last 6 days, everybody. So we really have to realize Cardano has made a really strong move. The bulls have stepped in and they are testing some serious areas. On the 6-hour chart, we just saw what it is, and it's this Fibonacci lower high. And that Fibonacci right here goes up to like $1.48 on this chart, right? So really up to that $1.50 range, and you can see that wick on this 6-hour. Look at that. Look at the resistance right here. And so when we're looking at that 786, it's no surprise that we're getting this initial just, you see that 6 hour wick, no surprise. There's 2 hours, 5 minutes left on this 6 hour candle as I'm doing this video. What will be interesting to me now is to see how this one closes, this 6 hour, and what happens with this next 6 hour candle. Remember, when we hit resistance areas, and we are at one right now as I do the video, a lot of times we see sideways action. We see sideways consolidation. Sometimes we see just immediate rejection, and we can get a very, ugly red candle right back into the $30s on the way back down, and we got to start monitoring support there. But right now, I'm really curious what we'll wake up to tomorrow morning, and that's partly why I wanted to cover this move right here. It's a really big move to a 786. It's a really big move to the entire lower high area. I want to zoom out for a second because this is important. We look at the weekly chart, and we're looking for this macro turnaround, right? It has been months and months and months of lower highs on the weekly chart, but the macro turnaround, we can see it illustrated here on the stock RSI, this momentum shift that we see happening. It is a move very similar to what happened in July. And that's an area we've been talking about all back here, looking for this move to the upside to play out once again. And that move back here, if you remember, came also after months of downside for Cardano. So months of downside for Cardano now, and actually even worse downside, and we're looking for a pop to the upside. Notice on this momentum oscillator, the MACD potentially kind of, do you see this histogram trending to the upside? Will this trend continue? Will Cardano see that histogram enter the green? And if so, on this weekly chart, things could get crazy. And I want to point out how crazy. And this could happen this week. This really could happen this week. Cardano can continue this move to the upside. And notice, as all of these oscillators, with where Cardano is right now, right there on the RSI, right here on the stock RSI, as they're all starting to trend upwards, we can look right back here when Cardano was making a very similar move. And what was it doing that was so key for Cardano to make that next all-time high move? It was getting back above the 20-week moving average right there in green. This green line is a huge area for Cardano. Right now, that 20-week moving average sitting at around $1.78, let's call it $1.80 at the 20-week moving average. That is a move that could potentially happen this week. The reason I say that, we can get more evidence of how that's possible because we've seen it before, and it was back here in July on the daily chart. So this week, between the first and second week here, this huge move for Cardano, it is potentially in play. Real quick, let's take a look at it. This is what it looks like on the daily chart. So right around August 5th area, you can see Cardano breaking above the 50-day moving average, right? A huge move for Cardano after also breaking above the 20-day moving average. So that green line, that blue line, Cardano breaks above, and check this out. Cardano was already overbought on the stock RSI right here, but this is a perfect example of why it doesn't matter. You can't use one indicator, especially a quicker moving momentum oscillator like the stock RSI, to kind of get a sense of what Cardano is going to do next. Because if you use that alone, you see it's overbought, and you're like, all right, Cardano's done. Well, just look how not done it was when it entered that territory. Now we couple it with, all right, well, where was it on the slower moving momentum oscillator? On the RSI right here. And you can see it's right around that 60 line. We take that 60 line all the way back here to that move. And look, it is almost exactly right where Cardano is breaking the 50-day moving average right here, and breaking above the 50-day moving average and getting ready for this huge breakout to the upside. So that momentum exists right now for Cardano. And even on the daily MACD, we just got that MACD crossing above that signal line, the blue line across the red line. That just happened January 12th or so, January 12th, January 13th. So momentum to the upside is there for Cardano. But again, I digress from all of that talk, because we go back to the 6 hour and we say, okay, we are at resistance right now. Here's what to be careful for. Here's what we don't want to see happen. Cardano falling into one of these lower highs. It stalls out. Right now, I think all the haters out there are kind of watching like, oh man, what's going to happen here? But if Cardano fails, if it falls here at this resistance, they'll step right back in the game and start talking some trash about ADA. But that's okay. If Cardano sees downside, what we'd be looking for is a higher low support area. Cardano doesn't have to immediately just continue up, right? Oftentimes, most often actually, that's not what happens. So if we see the resistance here, Cardano, what we could see and anticipate is a move to this lower trend line down here. It is in like the $1.25, $1.30 range. That's an area for Cardano. And then we have a fail-safe support, that last area of support, which is the previous swing low to this current swing high, if that's where Cardano sees its resistance. Zoom in a little bit. And you can see a 618 right around $1.23 to the 786 around $1.15. I always give upside and downside potential. Everyone, this is crypto. It is volatile. It's crazy. You have to be prepared for every scenario. Put your emotions aside. Track the data on the charts. Wait for confirmations. But check it out. Even as I do this video, $1.45 for Cardano right now, you can see the resistance right there to 786 line. That didn't just happen by accident. It's no surprise because we see this happen so often, resistance at these areas. But going into tonight and into tomorrow, I'll be very interested to see what happens. Does this prove resistance, or can we get a bullish confirmation break through it? Start closing 6-hour candles above it. That's what I'm watching right now. Wanted to do an update video for you. Wanted to talk about it. Either way, it doesn't matter. Growing community, growing network, everybody. Big things coming with things like the SundaeSwap ISO. So stake with CCV pools. Also remember, we're doing a lot of good with these things. 50% of our stake pool profits going to places like Place of Hope. I have my pinned tweet here. Really excited about it. Really excited to continue talking about what we're doing with them. So I appreciate all of you for cruising by. Let's see what happens with Cardano. That 6-hour chart. Don't you just want to see it just turn around? It is so close. That bullish confirmation. Actually, that's a daily chart. This 6-hour right here, that bullish confirmation, a strong break above it would be huge for Cardano to really turn this longer term ship around. And it all starts here in this little resistance that Cardano is in. Let's track it. Let's see. Hit the subscribe. Hit the like. I appreciate it. I really do. Y'all mean a lot to me. I hope you're having a good day out there. A good start to your week. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.